All right, Joe. Finally, some blue sky and a decent day to do some work. So you've been busy in the cabin.
We have been. I just want to point out it did snow last night.
Oh,
it did.
May 1st.
Yeah, we had.
We don't usually like to date our vlogs, but getting snow in May.
May 1st. You know what? It doesn't matter at this point.
Right.
We're talking about cabins. We're talking about remodels. We've done some work here. This cabin number 2, the one in the middle, is ready to paint. We've done a lot of prep work. And Zach's going to show you around.
We got Visqueen over the insulation. The beam was in pretty bad shape from the factory. It had a lot of glue exposed. And so Joe went up there and chiseled out the glue and sanded it down. We insulated there and added some paneling. Maybe not ideal, but it's what we had on hand. We didn't buy new paneling. So we're going to run a piece of trim there. And all that's going to be painted the same color. The paneling is getting a new coat of paint called Latte or something like that. Quite a few scuff marks in the wainscot that Joe sanded. You can see all the little raw wood spots there that hopefully will touch up and blend pretty well. Got a couple. We actually nicked the wall pretty good there when we were dropping paneling down from the ceiling. So anyways, we're going to get an overall before and after. So here we go. We pulled all the trim here so we can sand and restain it and then not have to cut in around trim when we're painting the paneling. So that will hopefully save us time in the long run. And a beautiful day today, but tomorrow is supposed to snow again. We are going to take advantage of the blue skies and move the really sensitive pine tongue and groove into the cabin. We don't want to move it while it's raining or snowing because you start to get little water spots, mold spots, any sort of thing that just looks like water stains on beautiful, expensive wood. So we're going to move it now, and while it's snowing tomorrow, we can hopefully install it. Each piece will need to be custom cut. The cabin is not square. It was built back in the 50s, so we're gonna have to trim them all a little bit different. So I got the paint done yesterday. The trim pieces that go between the wainscot and the paneling, got all that trim back on. So it's starting to look pretty good, and we will get to this project soon. Okay, so we got the tongue and groove moved into the cabin 2 days ago. We planned on installing it, but all day yesterday we got another 12 inches of snow. It just won't stop. First week of May is just being brutal. We're still at least a week out from getting water coming down our spring line. See our trail that headed up the spring line to go check on everything, dig out some of the headwaters of the spring, get to our filter area, all that stuff. It was at least 3 weeks out if we didn't go speed it along a little bit and dig it out. So now Joe and I are going to rip some tongue and groove to get started. We didn't want to do this yesterday because the saw and the wood would have got soaked. And we finally got a break in the weather, so got some outside stuff we can finally do. Hey, you following Dad? Say hi, everybody.
Hey, ready?
I didn't even know you were behind me. You're so silent. You're like a mountain lion. How's your popsicle?
Good.
Good. Let's go see Uncle Joe. All right, the very first piece of tongue and groove being installed. The very first piece. Joe had to notch around the light fixture, but it's going to be more easy sailing from after piece number 2. Piece number 3 is going to be easy peasy.
Typically, you start sealing material tongue and groove specifically from the wall, and you work up to the peak. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to do it. That's the way I've always done it. We decided, for reasons that I'm not going to explain, we decided to start at the peak and work down. It's going to work better for, like I said, a couple of reasons. So that's why we're doing it this way.
Yeah, so don't question us in the comments below, unless you want to, but we don't have an answer for you. There we go. All right, piece number 1 will come back during, like, I don't know, piece number 10. We'll see what the update looks like. Blue sky day means we called an audible, and we are tearing off the roof of cabin 1, saving the rest of the tongue and groove ceiling in cabin 2 for a rainy day. So we'll go show you what we got done on that at a later time. But just want to show you cabin 1. Joe's going to show you a couple things he found up there. Got a video that ridge beam, Joe. It's pretty impressive. And then we were talking about when we were kids building the house with our dad and mom, we would write on stuff as we went. Like Joe was here and, 1993 and stuff like that. So we were hoping that, we weren't the only ones that ever did that. Well, Joe came upon something pretty cool.
Zach was just making a comment about, I can't believe no one who built these cabins wrote anything. And I actually found some here. Let's check it out. All right, it says, the best I can read here, Morrow. The reason I think that's Morrow is it says it again down here with an O. Mara, maybe it's Mara. Ma and Steffi hung this ceiling August 20th, 1986. Now this is the paneling or the ceiling from the inside of the cabin.
One of their many upgrades.
It says Ellie, Jack, Mara, Steffi in camp preparing for hunting season.
Hey,
nice.
Tell them who Jack is. Show them the sign on the
So Jack, right there. Ellie, we believe, was Jack's girlfriend. Jack, if you'll follow me to the backyard here, this sign that we found, Jack Lee, guide and outfitter. He was I believe, the original owner of this property and these cabins here. So we believe he owned it pretty early on and hunted out here for probably a couple decades at least. All right, now on to the beam. Check this out. So you've got 2x4 rafters. You're going into this beam, right? It looks like a 2x4 ridge beam, and you've got a 2x4 post at each end holding up that beam. Well, as you can see now, that's not a 2x4. That is 1x4s nailed together very sparsely, I might add, holding this whole thing up. The snow loads that we get out here are insane, and this thing has never sagged, creaked, leaked, or anything else.
With the way these cabin roofs were built, we're kind of questioning our decision to rebuild them sometimes, because parts of them were built really well. But I don't know, the 1x4 ridge beam is kind of silly. But honestly, if these things were built, if Jack Lee is the original owner and these cabins were built in approximately 1961, they've held up really stinking well.
Yeah, they have. All right, let's get back to work.
Yeah, the cabin kind of looks funny from here without any of the rafters or anything.
It's our new Northern Light Experience cabin.
There you go. Our new Northern Lights Experience cabin. Anyways, the beam that we need for cabin 1 has been buried 3 or 4 times. And we just keep digging it out and keeping the tarp over it and Today is the last day I'm gonna have to dig it out. So there we go. Still a ton of snow. If you know the summertime footage, there is a little park bench somewhere right in here under about 4 feet of snow. But we're coming along. Joe and I got to lift this beam by ourselves. Kyle is definitely the strongest out of us three, and we'll just have to do it without him today and take it slow and steady. We are giving the beam a good sanding so that we don't have to do it while it's in the cabin. For the most part, these beams come nice and finished, but we were a little displeased with the last one that we installed. And this one is mostly good. There was just a couple spots that we thought, you know what, we've got it out here. Let's buff it up. Let's go ahead and give it a nice finish before we install it. And that will be the next step. The beam is cut to length, and Zach and I will grab that beam, walk it into the cabin up on the ladders, and install it. That's the next step. All right, so there we go. We wanted... I'll let Joe drill first. We wanted to set a goal for ourselves to get this beam set before lunch, and we accomplished that. So we are doing good. Looking good. We had to makeshift these headers, as you might have seen in the other cabin build video with Kyle. You just have to have a lot of wood here just spanning a wide swath of wall because there was no header over the windows and stuff, and that's just a lot of weight coming down from the beam. So there we go. Had to do that this morning after we ripped the roof off. So slowly but surely, there's just so many little details that have to take place. Got the sander. The beam was just so dirty in some spots, and Joe thought it would be a good idea to sand it before we get the bed and all the rest of the furniture in here. So Joe's down here sending some pictures, giving some friends a weather report, because it just keeps doing this. There we go. Got the Visqueen on top of cabin 1, and as the snow continues to dump late into the first week of May, we are out of inside projects. We may just have to call it for the rest of the day. We have to make a lot of cuts outside. We have to tear the Visqueen off of that and start sheeting the roof of cabin 1. Cabin 3 is packed full of furniture that we need to soon move into here. We don't want to do that and get the mattresses and all that stuff soaking wet. So anyways, last thing I'm going to do for this video is bring you guys into each of the cabins and show you kind of a 3-stage progression that we've got going on. So let's go check it out. Okay, so stage number 1, after all the rafters were put on yesterday, Joe and I threw the black plastic over to keep it protected in case we got any moisture. The forecast was calling for potential rain, and obviously got a little more than just rain. Another blustery day. All right, stage number 2 is where we're at with cabin number 3 right now. We don't need the Visqueen on the roof anymore. We've got the plywood and the gator skin and then the shingles keeping the inside protected. And we are using cabin 3 as our storage unit right now. In cabin 2, we've got the tongue and groove done on both sides down to the point where the last 2 pieces will need to be ripped. Other than that, a little bit of trim in here and we are ready to move the furniture back in.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to comment below. We love you guys' comments. Hit that like button and make sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll see you guys in the next video. Zach, turn the camera off. I'm going in. This is ridiculous.
Bramante brothers.